I've spent the last month trying hundreds of viral money-making methods to compile a list of the best side hustles on YouTube so you can make money. As we go through them, we'd rank them based on their overall ease, so stay until the end to see the best methods we found. We'd start with Spotify advertising. With music becoming so popular, millions of new artists pop up constantly and as a result seek exposure. Thanks to Mark Tilbury, we found a method that would let us take advantage of that. By creating a Spotify playlist based around a popular or marketable niche of music and promoting it, we'd gain attention towards the playlist. When I tried this, we decided to use underrated music since it's marketable, thanks to how often people try to find good but not so well-known music. We posted several TikToks while paying for advertisements to help push it. Thankfully, this brought a lot of attention to our Spotify playlist. With our now decent numbers, we'd reach out to different creators asking them if they'd like a feature, which we did. We messaged around 20 to 30 artists and charged between $15 to $25 depending on where we placed them on the list. As a result, now a month later, I've made $270. But for such an indirect method, we stayed on it longer and continued to grow the playlist. You could end up making way more because it's easy and super profitable. Considering all of this, I'd place Spotify in A due to its versatility and overall ease, as well as its returns since it's easy. Speaking of easy methods, Textbroker is an extremely simple freelance website that lets you type to earn money. The TikTok I found claimed to earn you $600 in 3 hours. When I started this, I was put onto a waitlist, which made me heavily debate continuing, but I waited. After some time, I was accepted and had to take a writing test, which ranked me at 3 stars, which is important to note. Depending on your star rank, you can accept jobs for more money, which also meant you could not accept jobs above your rank. Not to mention the job itself was very oversaturated. I had difficulty finding jobs on Textbroker because the instant one appeared, it was almost immediately taken. You would have to stay on that page to get good jobs, but when I did get jobs, it was an extremely decent amount of money. In just one day, I made $37.50, only working a couple of hours. While on another day, I made $73.48, also working a couple of hours, which means we made $110.98 in a little over 2 days. Considering that, we made enough to probably replace a normal job even without being able to get jobs consistently on Textbroker. I would say this method required a little more effort, but I did make good money, so this one will sit on a B. But let me ask, do you think it's possible to make over $100 an hour with no experience from home? Probably not, right? Well, userinterviews.com is a service that companies use to interview people about their products and services to help improve their business. There's a small time window when you sign up, but the jobs that it offers are pretty cool. Some of these jobs are actually extremely easy and can pay up to $100 an hour. When I tried them, the job I selected was for $60 an hour, and it was a simple 1-hour interview about the game Tower of Fantasy. They asked me some questions about their game, things I liked or didn't like, things I thought they could improve, and stuff like that. It took a little while for the money to hit my account, but I did a few of these. The next few I did were nowhere near $100 an hour, but it was still decent, and made $320 before taxes and fees, after completing them all in just 2 days. Overall, this method was really easy, as I just had to answer some questions and stuff like that. And because of this, I think this should be placed in A. Now, the last 3 methods have been pretty easy, but none of these you could actually just do on the side without any actual work. Which brings us to Sweatcoin. Do you walk often? Do you work a full-time job and just want a reason to get active outside of work? Well, Sweatcoin can give you that. Without the need to focus on this app, you can just let the Sweatcoin pile up while you do everyday things. The conversion rate is 10,000 steps per Sweatcoin. I took 30 days to devote to Sweatcoin, walking 10,000 steps daily. And over time, the Sweatcoin actually piled up without me even needing to do anything. In the store, you can find hundreds of items that change all the time. And sometimes you can even get free services or free products. For us, we decided to save up for a pair of shoes because that was the best thing we could think of, which we'd resell. I eventually reached 400 Sweatcoin and somehow ended up winning a shoe bid and got some shoes which we immediately started trying to sell. We reached out to a bunch of different people and tried our best to find people that were interested, and eventually we found someone and sold the shoes for $87.23. This can be good for earning some free stuff on the side, but it is definitely not something you can invest to long term and get a great return. So for this, we will place it at a C. Out of the several methods in this list, doing paid surveys was undeniably the easiest method of making money. There is no limit to how many websites you can sign up for. You can even go as far as using the same email on the same website for different ones, allowing you to double your earnings. The best thing about this method is that you can fill out surveys practically anywhere, which will save you a bunch of time. The hardest part was looking for a website that pays good amounts, but thankfully there is a subreddit called r/beermoney where you can find hundreds of websites that are willing to pay users to complete surveys and questionnaires. We tried out this method, and on the first day we had already made $65.07. When compared to other people in the subreddit, some people on that same subreddit were making up to $200 a day doing these surveys, only working 6 to 10 hours. Now, imagine you do this for multiple websites with different accounts. It will be pretty profitable, right? Not to mention, you can use affiliate links to almost double the amount you could make just off the surveys. So for online surveys, I'll give this a B, only because these specific surveys that I found paid quite well. But are there easier and more effective ways to make money online? Well, yes, it brings us to our next method, Click-a-Snap. We showcased Click-a-Snap in our viral money making video a while back. Originally going into this, I didn't think I'd be making a lot of money, but I was seeing people who were consistently posting, and it was some crazy content. The service is actually for stock imagery, meaning you need to get people to use their service in order for you to earn money, which is kind of a turnoff. But I signed up and started taking pictures of scenery. I walked to my local park to get some photographs of animals and trees. After I was done taking photos, I uploaded them onto the website and waited. I ended up making about $5 to $10 per day, which isn't crazy, but considering I only had to put in 2 to 3 hours of total work a week to make this, it was pretty good. So in conclusion, if you like photography and like getting out and doing things, you can do this. Click-a-Snap is pretty easy to do, and it doesn't take a lot of effort at all. So I'll give this a B. But if you want something that can really build some skills and can turn into a career, then pay attention. Virtual assistants is a new form of independent contracting, which has gained a lot of popularity over the last few years thanks to technological advancements. You can offer administrative support services such as data entry, scheduling appointments, and managing emails, or whatever tasks you're good at. The best thing about virtual assistants work is that literally anyone can do it because it's tasks that any average Joe or just any person in general should be able to do. Not to mention, you can do these all from the comfort of your home without any prerequisites or prior knowledge about any of the jobs that you can pick up. And personally, I used to be a video editor, and I still edit occasionally. While this technically isn't virtual assistants work, it also is. So I made an Upwork and registered under the sites that the person showed on the TikTok. I logged in all of my experience, and because I have a lot of experience, it was pretty easy to get clients. Depending on your expertise, it's quite possible to make more than the woman actually mentioned you can make in the TikTok, but it is heavily reliant on your ability to produce and your overall skill. When I was doing this work, clients would often request somewhat advanced stuff, or in general want something that a lot of beginners wouldn't know. However, there are plenty of things that you can do that don't take a whole lot of skill and are pretty easy to do. You can find jobs for proofreading, script writing, video editing, all kinds of different things that most people don't even know you can do for work. You can also join online marketplaces or forums for virtual assistants to find jobs. And this can be quite profitable later on as you build a portfolio, because then you can charge more for tasks. In just 2 days, I'd made $210.38. The fact that you can make a lot of money pretty quickly is extremely useful. Because you can learn a lot of different skills and it'll build a portfolio for you, I'll give this one an A. I'm sure you've heard about affiliate marketing. It's the practice of selling products for companies, where you take a cut of whatever the item sells for through a link that you can post on your social media. We found it to be quite profitable if you know what you're doing. We created a TikTok account about pet training and different kind of dog things. That way we could sell a pet training course and other dog items through the affiliate marketing links. Our goal was to target pet owners and people interested in dog training to increase our chances of selling the product. TikTok has an average link click-through rate of 2 to 3%, and only 0.5% of the people who actually clicked bought something. Let's say your video gets 100,000 views, and out of those people, 2% of them click it, and only 0.5% of that 2% who click buy something. That means 10 people will buy it, which actually happened to us. We made $123 overall with this method, but it takes a lot of grinding and effort. Despite that, we made a pretty decent amount even without doing very much. The only downside though is that you have to be pulling consistent views all the time. So I'll rank this at an S because TikTok theme pages you can sell, you can use to promote items, you can dropship with. There's a lot of different things you can do with this. Podcast exposure. This isn't a method we've shown in other videos before. First, let's define what we mean when we say podcast exposure. This refers to getting your own or someone else's podcast in front of a larger audience. Whether it's through featuring your podcast on a popular social media sharing platform or having it featured on a large directory like Spotify, whatever it is, you want to get exposure. In order to do this, I reached out to a few creators and eventually started working for someone who does debate podcasts. Our goal was to post his clips and to get as much exposure as possible. I would rip clips from his episodes and I would use them. This was an infinite content farm for us. Now, depending on the deal you get, most podcast owners will take almost all of the money you earn from sponsorships or whatever the case is. I recommend entering a pre-arranged contract or setting out a specific amount of money you earn for every deadline or every milestone. That way you make money from view counts or subscriber milestones. When sponsor fishing, I would have to email the company and tell them about the podcast and how it will benefit them. The best thing about this method is that often podcast teams have a production team that will provide you everything you need. And you can apply this to other areas of podcast exposure so you can make more money elsewhere, which in turn gets you more sponsors. Usually targeting small to medium-sized businesses get you the bag. I posted for a couple of weeks on TikTok and began hitting tens of thousands of views. Once I did this, I started reaching out to product companies in order to try and get a sponsor. I managed to secure one for $500 and a commission percentage. So only after a couple of days, I managed to make $500. Another way you could earn money from a podcast is if products or services are being discussed on the podcast. You can earn a commission by promoting them through affiliate marketing, which I did. I made another $125 off of the affiliate link percentage cut. In total, While working for the podcast, I managed to make $625.23 in about 32 hours worth of work. That is nearly $20 an hour. There are a lot of ways to go about it. And if commission percentages aren't your thing, don't worry, I have the next method for you. But for now, we'll place this one at an A. Rev.com is a text captioning website where you can sign up and get approved to transcribe text for people. Basically, large platforms have automated captions, but they aren't always accurate. So people often pay Rev to have its team caption videos for them so they can get completely accurate subtitles for cheap. We made an account and 2 months later got in. Customers who need video or audio transcribed submit it to a submission board where the workers can accept the work, as well as view the job amounts, how much you can make, and things like that. To get accepted, we had to take a captioning test. They would then rate my captioning skills based on whatever areas to determine my level. After that, I transcribed about 4 videos that made me roughly $16.58 in 8 hours. The method itself doesn't feel very profitable, but because there are hundreds of transcription jobs to choose from, you have plenty of options, and sometimes you can make good money. You also get paid weekly via PayPal, unlike most websites that make you reach a certain amount of withdrawal. Because the method itself pays very little and it takes a lot of time and effort, I will place this one at a D. If it were easier to sign up for and didn't pay chump change, I'd give it a C. In our Be a Heads video, we showcase the method where you can make money off of flipping Instagram theme pages. You take theme pages on Instagram and monetize them using marketing tactics such as selling merchandise related to your niche or creating dropshipping opportunities. We tried this method by finding a specific Instagram theme page in a specific niche that we wanted to buy in. We were trying to focus on finding a page between 15 and 25,000 followers. After some scavenging, we found a decent page with about 17,000 followers. We reached out to this person and tried to make a deal. I do not recommend spending more than $500 on a page. After buying the theme page from the owner, I started looking for places where I could resell the account. I could have tried growing the account from where it was currently so that it could be sold for a higher price, but I'd already bought it for $240, and it would take a lot of effort to sell that for even more than I would probably already get in return, so it definitely wasn't worth it. It was also important to buy and resell in a short amount of time to prevent the page from dying or losing followers because of downtime. After a few days, we managed to find someone who was interested in the page. The person I reached out to bought it for roughly $400, and as a result, this method that we tested from Be a Heads video was pretty good, but that's only if you're willing to invest for a return. If that's not something you are interested in, then our next method would work for you. This method was extremely profitable though, so I'll give it a B, only because you do need money to invest from the start. This method by far requires the least amount of effort to start making money. We found a website called Fabric.io that pays you to watch ads and you don't have to do anything. They also have an onboarding sign-up bonus for people looking to make additional money by signing up, but you have to be over 18 as they send you their bank card. So I started watching their ads, but soon after I realized that the minimum amount that I could withdraw was 5,000 cash coins or $30. In the first few hours, I earned $67, including the sign-up bonus. But without the bonus, I made around $17 in 3 hours, which is completely awful. Considering that, you would be making less than $6 per hour. That's not even minimum wage, but considering the method is completely free and you can do it on the side, it's pretty good. Not to mention, it is probably the best ad watching service that pays actually pretty decent. And you can do it on the side without even sitting there and actually watching. So I'll give this an A. So this one's pretty similar to Fabric.io. The only difference is you have to use the Brave browser and it pays you in crypto. At face value, this could be better than Fabric.io, especially since it pays you in crypto. But because you have to use the Brave browser, it is not the best. I started using Brave as my main browser for a few days, and it turns out a single ad didn't make you really anything. But because you could select up to 20 ads an hour, it was extremely profitable if you stayed on long enough. However, unless you were using Brave all the time, this method is pretty much useless. I watched ads while using Brave, and I earned around $13, which is bad, but it paid you in crypto. For people who want to buy crypto that are under 18, it's pretty hard because of all the ID verifications and stuff nowadays. But with Brave, you can easily earn the crypto, which is why this method is a lot better than it could have been. That way you don't have to be 18 and you can still get crypto. And after a few days, I decided to drop it as I was not earning a whole lot. But in total, I made around $50. Overall, this method can be pretty good, so I'll rank it at a B only because it gives you crypto, which is nice to have sometimes. Fiverr is a service a lot of people use to make money in exchange for their services. There are several kinds of jobs you can expect to find, from doing video editing to coaching someone in a game. Dia has showed us that Fiverr can actually make you some decent money, and the different things that you could do in order to make money while still expanding your portfolio, and in return to make more money over time. This will allow you to expand your portfolio and get more clients and more reputation. We tried this and we decided to do video editing, so we went on Fiverr and set up our own profile for video editing. I set up my profile and write a bio that clients would see. After setting my rates at a fixed price rather than hourly pay, I immediately got an order the following day. I got the information from the client and started working. I booted my Premiere and I got to work. In a span of about 8 hours, I completed 9 minutes out of the 20 that was requested, which was pretty fast. After I finished, I submitted my video portfolio to the client, and I got my pay. I made about $30 an hour, so about $400 in total, considering I only worked 12 hours on this. Although the pay may be consistent with the clients in the future, with this method you can earn yourself a pretty dang good amount of cash just from doing simple tasks from home. And for this method, I will give it an S, because you can learn so many different skills with this and expand your portfolio to turn this into a full-time career that will make you a lot of money down the road. I actually came across our next method while browsing YouTube. The person I found it from showed us that you can earn a large amount of money with CPA grips. Not many people know about this method, so this could be a good one if you start now. There are a lot of promotional ads and services that aren't popularized because they aren't in English. So CPA grips pays extremely high for people who can help promote their products, or link click-throughs in other languages to help attract people to do it because they're so shorthanded. This was a pretty easy task to do, as you could just use Google Translate. It didn't need to be perfect. We scrolled through the job boards and found that you could earn up to $28 per person, just as simple as putting their email in. The strategy here was to create that in other countries where customers pay more. So if they incentivize it higher, people are more likely to hop on, simply because these companies are paying higher to help get people to use their services in other languages. And then companies will take those emails, add it to a mailing list in order to promote other companies' products, which is what makes them money. That's why they pay so high. So I signed up and started browsing for some good offers. Eventually I found one that I liked and it paid pretty well. After setting up a basic advertising website, I paid for an advertising service called trafficadbar.com, and eventually I started to see some money come in. And just one day I made $260. I would give this method an S because of its return and just how easy it is. I mean, who doesn't want $260 a day? And most of all, who doesn't want to earn money? And with that, those were our top 15 hacks that we have tried in the last month of this channel. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe because we show a lot of these methods all the time. And some of these take time and practice to fulfill, but in the long run, you're gonna earn a lot of money if you stick to these. And just between you and me, the less people who know about these, the more you can probably make. So make sure you hit the bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, or watch one of the videos on screen right now. Thanks for watching.